Hi, this is Kazuyoshi. Today I'd like to talk about organization, and it's about how to structure an organization in the corporation. And I have some experience building companies and working as executives, or sometimes when I was younger as a manager, and I've been watching how the organizations are structured. And I'm literally the hierarchical organization from the traditional. Uh, and still, it's still important, but traditional way of thinking. And I'm not going to really going to the full MBA kind of organizational theory, but recently I had an opportunity to work with the executives, and I served the vice president of this company. I actually do a lot of things. So one of that, I was asked about advice for the organization. So, and during the course, we discussed. We didn't have a lot of time, but they showed organization chart, and they wanted me to kind of adjust it. So it was good one, but still they needed some adjustments. So I have spoken about that. So there are elements that we definitely need to consider. And those who are listening to this, who are running companies, organization, you obviously have gone through the challenge of forming a proper organization, so that will kind of maximize the outcome of the company or of the team. But but always you feel that this is, even if you create one, you don't feel that it's perfect, because there always a second thought about putting this person in this box or not. What if she or he will do better in here, and all those things. The more you have the options, there will be no 100% solutions like that. So if the organization is small, it's going to be easy, like a 3 or 4 people. And definitely she is here and he is here, and all those things are easy. But when you have 100,000 or more, even if sometimes most of the cases you don't even know that person's name or face, so then it's going to be much more harder. And you don't want you always want to find the talent from somewhere in in the organization, then, but you also know that you are probably missing some talent somewhere, and which will probably eventually lead to that this person leaving without being noticed. So you wanna avoid that, but also it's not avoidable. So it does happen. So you can't be perfect about that. And so what I'm trying to say is that I learned something, because even if although I was giving advice or finally making a decision about the chart, but I had some learning through that. So, so there are two elements. I always talk that you should first structure the ideal organization chart without the names. So that's my approach. So without the names, and the number of layers, or how big, or who will have a bigger span of control, all those things need to be managed at that level. And so that's number one, what I tell always. And then after that, put the name. Even if the some boxes, which means some positions, are blank, it's okay, because you can grow, nurture some people, you can hire some people. But that principle, that the structure of the organization will need to be thought well, and then not talking about the making a lot of layer, but then you will have a at least stronger organization. The reason is that we want to avoid, like particularly starting from the startups or small business. So some people hold the responsibility for some area, and some people also hold the responsibility for some area. So whenever they move, they can't release at work. That is good for the early stage, but so that's going to be a problem in the later stage. And so we I was talking about that. We were talking about that some play what kind of member is playing like using the example of baseball. He is the first baseman and also doing the left outfielder, and that's not gonna work, you know. So even if you are need to do multiple work, you should be the first baseman and the second baseman player. So you should the work that you cover should be close. So you can't do the catcher and also the center fielder. But that happens in the particularly for those who is doing well, who is efficient. People ask him and she will say, okay, I can do that. And then she holds multiple works. And that makes things complicated. So put the box first and create the box first and then put the people in that box is what I always say. So the learning comes later after this. And so I looked at the chart carefully, and so I found that this organization is too big, obviously. And but it has to be like that because we had to promote very talented people on that top of that. And so we really wanted to make him successful. And we had a one advisor here. So I I had the flash idea that okay, if we could have two advisors, so that this could be a team. So then I came to the idea of the management team. So I always think that three is stronger than two. So one decision maker with two advisors, or two, actually these are two vice leaders or something. And if you have three, then it's going to be very, very powerful. So my takeaway from that is that if you have one person and the other person and you two or something this is working well, think about adding one more so that usually it makes stronger. Like if you have three legs, a table will stand. With only two, it's like a bicycle. You have to keep running to make it stand. And if you have four, it will hold, but if the length is, it's going to be, a little bit shaky. So three is a perfect number. Whatever the length, so it will kind of be stable. So if you are working with somebody just with one-on-one face kind of back to back, so that's going to be okay. But think about adding one more person so that you can create a perfect triangle. And what about creating the organization based on the triangles? This is the concept that is deeply popular in football, soccer. So you create a triangle so that the triangle can change over and over by the occasion. So that's going to be one idea I'm trying to discover. When you do something, work with as a triangle, and probably that will strengthen the organization or decision making. So that's what I found. I'm going to experiment that, but hopefully this adds some idea or value to your work. Thank you.